Obviously not a title fight, but still a pretty big one, right? So talk about the fear right now and just kind of where this ranks as a career moment for you.
It's definitely, I mean, it's up there. Beating Max, getting that interim belt, knocking out Conor on a pay-per-view main event. It's up there for sure. I'm happy, man.
All the discussion kind of coming into this was like about your mental check, you know, and it wasn't going to be a difficult mental battle versus necessarily just, you know, tactics and that sort of things. Was this a tough mental test to get in there that first minute and put all that behind?
I wasn't even thinking about the first fight, honestly. But every fight's a mental test. You know, this stuff is scary, and you have anxiety in the locker room and the week of the fight. More so this one, man. Like training camp, all that stuff, it gets blocked out. That's all noise to me. But this freaking thing, dude, I'm sitting in a hotel for 2 weeks on Fight Island with nothing to do but think about the fight. You know, it's like Conor said, I've got a lot of experience in this game, and like I've said, I just don't care anymore what anyone thinks. So it's whatever.
You used the wrestling early, which I thought would probably be a big factor, but ended up getting it done on the feet. So was the game plan to use more wrestling, or did you think you'd be able to just outstrike them?
The game plan was to not be heavy on my feet and throw power shots and box early. The game plan was to kick and wrestle and box, to mix it up and make it a mixed martial arts fight, to kick inside, to kick outside. Mike Brown was real big on me throwing calf kicks this fight, really big on it. Really wanted me to, and it worked, man. You know, we compromised his leg, and he was in a bad position early, just from the repeated leg kicks. Even when he started checking, he wasn't contacting with the shin. He wasn't, you know, like a small rotation more, I would have been paying for those kicks, but I was still getting the muscle of his leg, and that part of your leg and muscle is so small and thin that you can't take many shots there, you know. After the second leg kick, I knew he was hurting.
He says he wants to regroup and come back, and what do you think? Is a trilogy in order somewhere down the line? Do you think it has to happen at some point?
I mean, we're 1-1 for knockouts, right? This is CTE Island. This ain't Fight Island. We'll see. We'll see what I don't know. You know, I can't tell the future. But we're 1-1. We both TKO'd each other. So you probably have to do it again, right?
I like it. Dana was here a little bit earlier, so he spoke to Khabib. It doesn't look like Khabib's going to come back right now. Are you okay with that? And if so, it seems like, you know, Chandler would probably be the fight for the title. You and him, does that make sense to you?
No, it does not. Respect to Chandler. Great win over a guy. But to come in and beat a guy I just beat and get a title shot, dude, I've been in, what is this, 27, 28 fights in the UFC, trying to, you know, everything, fighting the toughest of the toughest guys to get my hands on gold. You know, he should fight Charles Oliveira or something. Let Chandler and Charles Oliveira go at it. That doesn't really interest me at this point. I'm going to sell hot sauce if that's the case.
Last thing for me, I guess they were saying on the broadcast, did you went over to Cormier and the broadcast, he was like, I don't even like this, I don't like this anymore. What was that about?
I just felt like in the locker room, I just felt flat. I mean, I'm damn good at it, but I just, you know, felt flat, and I just felt like really calm, and I don't know. It's hard to put into to say, but that's it exactly. I don't really like this anymore. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'm not, dude. I got so many ass whippings left to hand out. I feel like I'm just hitting my prime, right? And just putting everything together. My body and my mind are finally on the same wavelength, and just turned 32 this week. We'll see what happens, man. I don't know. Only part I liked was the fight this whole last 2 weeks. So I don't know if that answers a question or draws more questions, but I didn't enjoy the process these last 2 weeks. The only part I liked was fighting.
Dustin, right here. There was a moment in the first round when you were trading shoulder strikes, talking to each other. Is that something you had worked on, or did you just throw it back? I
always talk trash to these guys. Ask any of my opponents. I'm always having fun in there and talking and stuff. No, I hit him with a shoulder strike. I forget what I told him. I said, "How about that clavicle?" or something silly, you know. Yeah, that was it. And then he hit me with a good knee, and I said, and I told him that was a great shot. That was a good one.
And then finally, just to clarify, you're willing to just wait, see if they give you a title shot, see what else happens behind you?
Well, I'm not waiting for nothing. I'm going home, be with my family. I'm going back being dad. I'm going to sell hot sauce. I'm going to work with my foundation. I have so many things happening outside of fighting right now. This is just something I do.
Dustin, over here to you, right? You said that you were talking to him. Was he talking back, or was he staying quiet?
He wasn't really. I think he said something when he landed a shoulder. He might have said something, but he wasn't talking. Well, yeah, it wasn't a whole lot of chatter going on, just in that mix of shoulder strikes against the fence.
You mentioned you didn't enjoy the process of this. Is that like part of that due to the size of the fight, how much media you had to do, and all the attention on you?
I don't know. I think part of it might be from fucking spinning my wheels for 2 weeks sitting in a hotel room. You call this Fight Island, but man, this is Fight Hotel. We couldn't leave the property. I'm sitting for 2 weeks cutting weight. The furthest I can go is to the workout room. You know, this was like I was in a prison of my own mind over here, man.
You got to listen to the race cars, though.
It drove me fucking nuts yesterday. Yesterday, I was like, dude, I thought yesterday was the worst day, right? And this is the day before the fight. I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm about to jump off the balcony.
You mentioned that a fight with Michael Chandler doesn't really interest you at the moment. What does interest you? Would you rather just do a rematch with Conor? Would you like to look elsewhere? What does interest you?
I mean, a rematch with Conor interests me. Always wanted to whip Nate Diaz's ass. That interests me. In fighting, that's about, I mean, I'm sure something will make sense, but just right now, I don't know. You know, me and Conor are 1-1. Nate Diaz got away and likes to talk a lot of shit online. But I just got to go back home and we'll see.
Do you think there is something to Conor's thing about inactivity hurting him?
Possible. Everybody's different. You know, I've seen guys that not affect, and you know, ring rust is real if you allow it to be. I just assumed it wouldn't be for Conor. That's how I approached this fight because I thought he was in the, you know, in Portugal and he has a training camp going built around him. He's putting in the work every day, so I think you would be sharp and your timing would be good. When the like real life timing of a fight, I feel like I get that in training camps. You know, so I don't think ring rust would be a thing for me unless it's mental, you know, like a mental worrying about performing again, maybe. I don't know. To each his own, I guess.
And last thing for me, a lot of it was made of your durability at 155 versus 145. You took the shot from at 145, it finished you, but tonight you took a few shots. Did any of them hurt you, faze you at all, or did you feel like you could take them quite comfortably?
No, he hurt me. He hurt me with the left hand. My legs, nothing went. But he flashed me good, and if I would have got hit, if he would have pressured and I would have got hit again, I think I would have been really hurt.
Dustin, it's very obvious that you won the hearts of the fan when you were going out victorious tonight. Talk us through that feeling, and how did it feel to hear all those chants for Conor while fighting? How did you get through that or overcome them while fighting?
It's been, I fought one time last year, and there was no fans, so it's been a while since I got booed. It's been a while since I walked out to boos. I walked back to the locker room with cheers, though. I heard that. So I heard the boos on the entry, and I heard the cheers on the exit. And that's exactly what a lot of these MMA fans are, fair weather. So that's why I don't hold that stuff close to me. You know, it doesn't mean anything.
Dustin, down here, obviously you come out to James Brown all the time, pay the cost to be the boss. I mean, just from your reaction there, like,
The hardest working man.
Could it be any more fitting given the magnitude of this victory?
Yeah, I was thinking about coming out to the big payback, but this isn't payback. This isn't about that. That's not what this was to me. That's not what this training camp was to me. This was about progress. This was about prosperity. This was about putting my family in the position we're in now. It was a lot of things, but it wasn't payback. That's great. Now that the fight's over and stuff like that, I'm glad I got him back. That's cool. It makes for a great storyline, and it feels good, but that wasn't the driving force of this.
And your career has had a lot of peaks and a lot of valleys. But where'd you rank this win in your list of top victories?
It's up there, especially the finishing a guy who's never been finished like that. It's up there, man. You know, touching that UFC interim belt was so important to me. And, you know, putting my hands on the Undisputed World title before this is all said and done is what I want to absolutely do, man. But this is a big win.
And I know you're still taking in everything and whatever, but ideally, have you thought about when you'd like to come back? Because obviously you only fought once last year.
I don't know what's next, honestly. I got to get home, speak to Dana, speak to the UFC, just see what's making sense, you know. But I can guarantee I won't be fighting Michael Chandler. They can do whatever they want with the division. I don't really care. But if something happens that makes sense, then we'll do it. But
Thank you, man.
Dustin, here, in front of you, right here. Before the fight, Mike Brown, your coach, said that sometimes you are kind of an emotional fighter. And I would like to understand if it was hard for you during this fight with Conor, especially at the end of the first round. You got some blows, but you got composure. But then at the second round, you kind of flipped the coin, you know, and got some speed and got the knockout. How was that process for you to deal with emotions inside the octagon with Conor?
Tonight is one of the best I've ever felt, honestly. I was emotionless. I was an assassin, and I was here to execute. You know, I was locked in, man, locked and loaded. I felt nothing. I felt very focused. It was a great feeling. Like I said, I didn't enjoy the warming up. I didn't enjoy the week of 2 weeks of sitting in a hotel room. But damn, when I let that dog out and I get in there and I perform, I can scrap, man, and I know I can, and it feels good, but there was no emotion.
And you already talking about Chandler, that he doesn't deserve because he just got...
Yeah, and you know, it's not even my position to be. I just been putting in work. That's why I'm sitting here feeling like I can talk about it, because I've been in the division, you know, in the UFC for a long time, fighting the best of the best of the best. No disrespect to him, you know, seems like a good husband, a good father, speaks well, has a lot of respect, carries himself very well. Nothing but respect for him. It's not a knock against him. It's just my feelings towards the division and the sport. You know what I mean? I feel like I lost to Khabib. I came out and put on a fight of the year for you guys. I got my hand raised against a top 5 opponent after that. Then I come in here and Khabib doesn't want to come back, and I knock out, you know, one of the biggest fights you can get. I knocked this guy out too. Khabib reiterates he doesn't want to fight anymore. Dude, I'm the champ. You know, I'm not going to fight some, and like I said, respect to Chandler. Fight a new guy to the UFC who just beat a guy who's coming off a loss that I just beat for the belt. You know, that's not exciting to me.
And what would you say about,
You know,
what would you say about Oliveira, which has
I think he has more. You know, because I've been watching that guy for 10 years in the UFC, 2 different weight classes. He's fought the best of the best, you know, over and over again. And he's been knocked down and got up time and time again. He's proven himself, and he's proven what mixed martial arts and what perseverance and what believing in yourself is. I respect that. You know, not that I don't respect Michael Chandler. I just think there's more work for him to do to come in here and beat a guy that I just beat.
And last one for me. We are always talking about how different you are 6 years after the first fight. What would you say about Conor? Did you saw any difference inside the octagon of the first Conor from this one?
I felt, you know, that first one was so long ago, but I felt maybe that's just my growth too. I felt his presence less, like his aura less. I just saw another fighter tonight. I think that first time I was kind of deer in the headlights, you can say. This time I was just fighting another man who bleeds just like me, and I knew that.
Dustin, to your right. Congrats on the huge victory. The only other name in the lightweight equation is Justin Gaethje, who you already beat. Who do you think's more deserving of a title shot between Oliveira and Gaethje?
Oliveira, because he's never had the opportunity. Gaethje just came out here and got beat. You know, as I did. Not a knock on Gaethje, but he lost. I think Oliveira probably. Or let them fight to see who gets it, you know? There's so many tough fighters in the 155-pound division, you know, but that, yeah.
And lastly, what was the biggest difference you felt inside the octagon against Conor McGregor from 145 the first time to 155 this time?
I just felt in the moment. I felt aware, and I felt here. I was in the moment, and you know, ready to take advantage of any opportunity I can get. And it felt right tonight. When I walked into the octagon and the air hit me and the lights were on me and Bruce was introducing us, it just felt right. Yeah.
Dustin.
You mentioned the leg kicks, the advice from Mike Brown on that. Do you think they were going to pay off in such a big way? Conor was in here saying that he has a football in his leg.
I just know from experience how bad those things hurt, and I knew it was a 5-round fight, so it would only get worse. It would only get worse. He started catching them and trying to counter me with his left hand towards the end, but I knew they were still landing. He was catching them after they were making contact. I knew they were still hurting him. And if he did catch it and take me down, then I was gonna, it's a 5-round fight. Of course, you never want to give up a round, but I'd like to throw some submissions up and see what happens. I am a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I'm very confident in my jiu-jitsu. But I knew the leg kicks would be a problem because Jim Miller tore my leg up, and that was a 3-round fight. And I just know how painful it is.
You didn't jump for any gillies tonight.
I promise you I would have if there was an opportunity.
And it seems
I wanted to rename this Guillotine Island. When I'm laying down at night, I was thinking, like, I'm going to guillotine this guy somehow. I'm going to get his neck. This is going to be Guillotine Island.
It seems kind of evident you're a little bit torn about your future. I mean, after this, you're in the top 10 for most wins in UFC history. You have the most knockouts in lightweight history. Just knocked out the biggest star in the history of the sport.
If I'd have done the bulk of my UFC career, what did I do? 7, 8, 9 fights at featherweight? I've knocked some guys out there too. I would really be running off with the list at lightweight then.
Is there almost like a feeling of you held that interim belt too, like you've kind of done a lot or almost it all in a way?
Me and my wife were just talking about this. I feel like I've done it all, except obviously I can't walk away and say that I'm the champ. I want to be the champ. When you're the champ forever. And I want to be the champ, man. But yeah, I've seen the highest of the highs, the lowest of the lows in this sport, and I've built a very beautiful life for me and my family. I'm very proud of the work that I put in, and fighting is just something I do at this point in my career, like I just said. But I honor this. I don't take this stuff lightly, man. I really respect the opportunity, and that's why it's so close to my heart. And I think I can help so many other young children, and so many boys and girls, just troubled youth, with my foundation. They can fight their way out too. I did it, I'm just like them. I'm nothing special. If I can do it, anyone could do it. But I feel like if you introduce troubled kids to martial arts and to goals and just be a positive person around them, that it can change their life, man. This changed my life. And I just want to share that with people.
You kind of took my next question a little bit there. I mean, I know there's aspects of this that you don't enjoy the most, but the fact that you got a $500,000 donation from Conor's team, you're going to raise a bunch of other money through your auctions and everything, does that make maybe the things you don't like so much about it worth it?
Yeah, because I know what I'm fighting for, and I know, of course I'm fighting for me and my family. First and foremost, I got to take care of me and mine. But everything else that I can put on my back and carry with me, because I'm doing it regardless. I'm going in there and fighting for my life regardless. As many people that can benefit from me getting in there, I want to stack it up, stack the weight on my back, and let me carry that in there with me. I want to give people a reason to cheer. I want to give people a reason to smile. That means a lot to me.
Last thing, you just knocked out a guy who went multiple rounds with Floyd Mayweather. You've beaten Max Holloway twice, as you said, who people are calling the best boxer. Are you the best boxer now?
I am, but that wasn't a knock on Max Holloway. I guess it kind of was, but respect to Max. He looked incredible. But I just saw Conor earlier this week when Max said that. Conor said, well, after Saturday, we'll see who's the best boxer. I believe in my boxing, man, very much.
And you told me when we did an interview like 2 months out from this fight, maybe I'll be the guy fighting Manny Pacquiao after this.
Maybe so. I've actually been in talks with Justin Wren and Fight for the Forgotten. He's actually in Lafayette, Louisiana right now. But I just tossed this in there because you said Manny Pacquiao. We bought 40 acres for the Pygmy people after the Khabib fight. We built some water wells. Obviously, that was the big goal. But then we had enough rollover money, so we bought them 40 acres to build housing on. And I just heard that the Manny Pacquiao Foundation, I think, is going to start building the housing on the Good Fight Foundation's land that we bought for them. So, man, fighting in general, combat sports is doing some huge things, man, and I'm very proud to be a part of any of that. Congrats, man.
Dustin, can I ask you about, over this way. I know it's hard for you to see. Here we go. You talked about going in there with no emotion and being an assassin in there. Do you think part of Conor's attitude change in those 6 years made any difference? Like, you've been quite open about how mentally he tried to get under your skin the first time, but it's been all totally different this time around.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was a mental play as well, you know. But I didn't really pay a whole lot of mind to it. Maybe he's just maturing, maybe he's a father, and maybe he just understands and respects the sport and the competitors. I don't really know, and I don't really care. But every interaction I had with him fight week has been respectful. And I think because we both knew what we're going to do, we're both coming in here. I mean, we can shake hands and say good luck with whiskey and hot sauce sales and whatever not. And we know when that door closes, 2 men in or 1 man leaves, the Thunderdome.
And you were just talking about your great foundation. Can you give us some kind of insight into your plans with these donations and the great things that are going to come from this fight for it?
Yeah, I have a big goal right now that we're crowdfunding for the Boys and Girls Club of Acadiana and their 6 locations. We're trying to help them with their Project Learn initiative. You know, the pandemic has been tough on children as well, and especially children from single parents. And there's just so much to speak about this, but I'll just say that we're teaming up with the Boys and Girls Club to provide transportation and tutoring for the year of 2021, so the rest of this year. Transportation to and from 6 clubs, and tutoring for the children as well, who are learning from a distance.
Awesome. Congratulations, man.
Thank you so much.